I'm Cara, and this is Out and About Recovery, where we discuss issues regarding addiction and recovery in the LGBT community. I'm here today with my colleague James.
Hi, Cara.
And Joe Parrott, our Director of Admissions.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Joe.
Joe, we're so pleased to have you. And I know Cara and I get the pleasure of working with you every single day.
Yeah.
But for those of watching today and who haven't had the extreme high pleasure that we have to get to know you, your life hasn't always been here in recovery. We know that. Can you just tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got here, and how maybe the things you've learned along the way have come to help you in this position you have here at KLEAN?
Okay, how'd I get here? Got in my car now. I got clean when I was 41 years old, which is 12, almost 13 years ago.
A couple years ago?
Just a couple of years ago, and I wouldn't recommend that necessarily. I wouldn't recommend waiting that long, but it was the perfect time for me because I had a lot of exploration to do out there. I guess before I was in recovery, it would have never even dawned on me, obviously, because it was contrary to the kind of lifestyle I was living. But I was in the club business. I started out kind of in my young life. I started out in the club business. I was co-owner of a club in Austin, Texas, a gay dance club, and had quite a few good years at that, and a lot of fun, and a lot of drinking, and a lot of drugs, and
a few stories along the way?
Oh, a lot of stories along the way, yeah. I sort of came out in that club in Austin, Texas.
So did I, actually.
Yeah. And well, it was a lot of fun. I did create a lot of damage as well, and basically sucked the club up my nose. And subsequently, I moved to Los Angeles, and I was like, okay, I'm going to move to Los Angeles, and I'm not going to do drugs. I'm going to get here, and I'm going to get serious, and I'm getting into the film business, and the first thing I do is, it's like around Long Beach Gay Pride. I go to this Gay Pride celebration, and I nose out the guy with the drugs right away.
Right.
I just got into town. And that's sort of how it just continued to progress and to progress. And then I found this drug called meth, which really progressed my addiction. And I ended up, at the beginning, I was like this outgoing guy, had lots of friends. I was a fitness trainer. I worked in property management. I had all kinds of things that I was doing, and had a big life, and the meth just sort of took me down little by little to the point where I was living in a small little one-bedroom apartment by myself, spending a lot of time isolated, not happy, and thinking that I could not get up out of my chair or off the couch unless I had another shot of meth.
Right.
And I lived like this for the better part of 10 years. And one day I had a friend visiting me, and he happened to be a sober friend, and I didn't have very many sober friends at all at that point. But this guy never threw me away. And I used that phrase, "we don't throw you away," or "I won't throw you away," a lot, because he didn't really know what he was doing, and consequently he has sort of thrown me away in sobriety. But he didn't throw me away. He shared the message with me, and I wound up asking him to go to a meeting with him, which I had no idea I was going to do. Believe me, I didn't want to go to a meeting. I did not look like I look today. I was about 50 pounds lighter.
Wow.
I had long hair. I was missing teeth. I looked a little like Howard Hughes, even though in my mind I thought I looked like Jesus Christ.
Right.
So I went to this meeting, and I didn't know, had no idea, no intention that was going to be the last day that I ever picked up.
Wow.
And I met my sponsor at that meeting, who I had already known because I was in the program once before for a short time. And then my road to recovery began. And it was really funny because I used to think to myself, I'd be sitting in my little apartment, and I sold drugs to keep myself a roof over my head, and drugs in my veins.
Wow. And in drugs, right?
And and I used to think to myself, I kind of demonized the program, you know, the
In what
12-step
way?
program.
Like how?
I turned it sort of into a monster.
Wow.
Like, I don't want anything to do with those people. I don't want anything to do with that program. It's not for me, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't
Which
work
is a
for
common
me.
thing a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Oh, they find something. We get a lot of that.
I'm never going to have fun
the God
again.
thing.
Yeah, the God thing, and the God thing's a big thing for me. It was a really big thing.
Why is that?
I come from a fundamentalist Christian family,
Let's do it.
and my family were not happy with my choice of sexuality, according to them, and which obviously is not a choice.
Right.
But I did make a choice to pursue my true self, which
Awesome.
is the difference, you know.
Right.
We see too many people that don't do that, and then
They
ruin
get
other
really
people's lives.
sick,
And
right.
yeah.
And it's a lot of my story too, so
Yeah,
I wish I would have had the courage you did.
Yeah, a little of mine too, actually. Way
I
back.
think a lot of us can really relate to that.
Well, and I really believed
yeah.
that there was this God who really was angry at me for this, and I wanted to make it right with him and
Yeah.
please him, and if I had to suffer for it. Did you start it just as fun, or
I started for fun.
For fun.
I was the guy that was always at the party. I was the life of the party. I was the guy that was the last one at the party, not so life of the party that by then.
Right.
And that's all I wanted to do, you know. And I just wanted to feed that party. And then that party became sitting in my apartment by myself, you know, figuring out where I was going to get my next fix, basically, you know. And so the whole religious thing was really difficult for me, and I found for myself a different way of a different kind of higher power. And my sponsor had told me this, and I really have a lot of respect for my sponsor. He's very spiritual, and I'm not the most spiritual. I think I am spiritual in my own way, but I'm not the guy that gets on his knees and prays to God, because I have such a difficult history. But you know, in my early recovery, particularly, the room and the power of the people in the room were my higher power.
Same here.
Right.
You know? And that worked for me, you know, and I think it works for some people, and you know, maybe not so much for others, but that worked for me, and it got me through a lot of hard times, and my connection to the program and the sort of nucleus of people that I was drawn to in those early days of recovery are still very close in my life.
Yeah,
you know, there's
great.
about maybe 6, 8 people. I'm really, really close with them. We don't talk every day. I'm not that guy that calls his friends every day.
Right.
Neither are they. But we, you know, we show up for social events, and we're in recovery. We see each other at meetings from time to time, and we know that at the drop of a hat, if you need me, I'm going to pick up my phone, and vice versa.
There. Can I ask you this, Joe? Since you've been now working in recovery, how many years?
I have been working in recovery for 8 years. I
8 years.
started with KLEAN in the very beginning, before we even had our first facility.
Wow.
We had a little office on Santa Monica
I
Boulevard.
remember that office.
Specifically looking at the gay community, what is it about our community that makes us a little more susceptible to drug and alcohol addiction, if you do in fact believe that?
I think for a lot of people, a lot of it is shame. And they probably don't even know it's shame. They think they just want to party, and I think that probably deep down inside there was some shame for me, but it manifested itself as I'm the life of the party. I want to be out there, and I don't give a shit what anybody thinks.
Right.
But I think in our community, there, even still today in 2017, there are still a lot of people that just don't think that our way of life is anything but the devil's work.
Acceptable,
you know?
right.
And that's really hard for a kid to grow up with. So if a kid has these feelings that he's attracted to another man or she's attracted to another woman, and they're hearing all this message from whether it's their church or their community that gay is wrong, men and men, women and women can't be together, it's wrong, bad, that's going to affect you in such a negative way. So 12 years and 9 months or 8 months or so later, here I am at KLEAN. I love what I do. I love the people that I work with.
Most days.
I have a lot of love in my life. I have a wonderful relationship, a man that I'm married to that is next to being in recovery is the next best thing that's ever happened to me. And I know he feels exactly the same.
Yeah,
way.
you're a great
Every day,
couple.
every day, we are.
If there's a young person or an older person, anybody, but specifically...
Or a middle-aged person.
Yeah, or a middle-aged person. Specifically maybe that gay or lesbian person, but anyone, but if we could direct it towards them, who's using, who's tired of it, who wants out, what advice would you give them, or what words of wisdom could you leave them with?
Pick up the phone. I'm going to say it. Call 888-601-6040.
Right.
I mean, that is the first step. You know,
Right.
there is a solution, and we're all about solutions in our program and in our organization. And if you pick up that phone, the person that you're going to get on the other end is really going to care, and they're going to walk you through the process, and they're going to make it comfortable, and we're going to help you change your life.
That's right. The way our lives are changed when we picked up the phone.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank God we all three did.
Clean saved my life, so. But you're probably going to talk to me or James, so
Hopefully. Well, thank you so
So
much,
you're in
Joe,
luck.
and thank you, Cara.
thank you, James.
Thank
always
you
a
guys for
pleasure.
having
Joe.
me. I enjoyed it. Thanks.
Anytime. This podcast is presented by Clean Treatment Centers. If you or someone you know needs help, call 888-601-6040. Treatment advisors are available 24 hours a day. That number again is 888-601-6040.